Hello, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Naya and I'm usually known as Anzania on YouTube streets. I'm only saying welcome back because I did start a YouTube channel a couple of years ago, but I haven't been consistent for various reasons. One of them being that I really just couldn't stick to one thing because I felt like I needed to have a niche, and that niche looked like doing one thing consistently over and over, and that was just doing an injustice to myself because I kept evolving, I kept experiencing new things, I just kept growing over time. And so I think it will make much more sense as we get into this video and have that conversation about it. But welcome to my YouTube channel, and I really hope that you get to enjoy this video, maybe come back for more videos again. And yeah, I had planned to do a LinkedIn post I think on the 20th, which is this Monday, or maybe even before, where I would be talking about my experiences in 2024, specifically experiences that had to do with my career. And I couldn't get to doing that. I think there was just like so many things that just kept standing in the way of actually having that being done, and I got to a point where I was just feeling like I shouldn't do it anymore. I probably will do it even after this video, but the plan was to do the LinkedIn post and then come back and do a YouTube video giving more insight on the post I would have made. But nothing is lost. We can definitely still talk about those things because I think that they're very, very important, not just for the audience but also for me, things to keep for myself. Welcome to 2025 and what I call my annual LinkedIn posts on previous years. If anything, 2024 was such a great year for me. I have formed such great relationships with the people in my life. I progressed significantly within my career, and I started a brand new career that I never knew that I had passion for. I got promoted. Facebook heard it first. It was such a great experience. I was so proud of myself because I knew that I really had worked hard. I had a very positive and giving mindset. Let me tell you, I was not ready for all of the lessons that I learned. Personality and drive can set you in places that skill and talent alone cannot. There's something that I've discovered last year, which I didn't know up until I had left my previous job, that I was a personality hire. If you don't know what a personality hire is, I found it out on TikTok. It's basically where you get hired because they feel that you could add something within the group or the organization that is needed. It could be that you're good with people or you just have a fresh feel of things. And I think now with my generation, because I didn't know this, I'm actually part of Gen Z, which is crazy. I looked it up. I was like, there's absolutely no way. I thought I was a millennial, so I'm not. I'm still in Gen Z, but the nice thing about this generation is that there's so many things and concepts that just get introduced into the marketplace so that we can that create spaces for different kinds of people to just excel in. I think there's a great importance now in conversations like mental health within the workplace. There's a great importance with conversations like just doing personality and strength tests that I feel like some organizations obviously have not really been equipped into doing those as of yet, but with time we are seeing that things are getting better, people are getting more educated. So I was a personality hire, especially when it comes to my promotion. I don't think that only my personality got me there. I do think that I possess skills that my bosses felt like, oh, she would be great. I'm a very proactive person when I'm in my healthiest mode. I'm very proactive. I speak my mind most of the time, and I feel like I have such a refreshing personality, especially in the workplace, because I don't think that anyone would ever feel like they are not really allowed to be themselves, or not seen when working with me. But I'm not to say that I'm perfect, because I'm not really there yet, but I'm close. Like That's close to perfection. The second thing I learned is that there are no friends in the workplace. I even said, really. There are absolutely no friends in the workplace. There are no permanent friends. There are no permanent enemies. I think everyone is just there for different objectives. One of the saddest things that I've learned to observe, particularly because I was in a retail space, is that the job means different things to different people. I think for me, it may mean like a step towards something bigger, or like it may mean like, oh, I'm here to learn. I'm grasping new concepts. I'm here to just grow myself. But for another person, it means something completely different. For another person, it's a dead end. For another person, it's bread for whatever responsibilities that they have. And you may also have those responsibilities, but you may be in a point or a mindset where you're just like so ambitious for other things that it really doesn't mean that much to you. It means a lot because of your career, but emotionally and personally, it really doesn't mean that much. So sometimes when your emotions get intertwined or mixed into it, you just don't understand, and you get to a point it's like, I don't want to do this because it's just supposed to be for my growth, it's just supposed to be for my experience. And even if you're at a point where you're like, I'm probably going to be here for 5 years, it can still be for the growth and the experience. But really, in the workplace, there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies. It's just different people coming from different backgrounds. Granted, you can make good friendships from work, you can actually come out with phenomenal friendships and even a relationship sometimes, but really, no, there are none. Zilch. The third thing I learned, and I actually learned this the hard way, you need to communicate with your leaders and your bosses so they know where to support. Sometimes you will find that you have a stronger relationship-ish with the people that you're on the ground with, that maybe you get the perception that the people that are not here, like your bosses, wouldn't really like understand, because you wouldn't know how to formulate or word things. So I sound very articulate, right? I know how to talk. I'm very good with articulating myself in most situations, particularly like professional ones. I think I speak very well, and sometimes that can be very intimidating for other people because they get to feel some type of way about it. I know a couple of incidences where people are touched and affected by the way that I spoke, because I can be very assertive sometimes. Like, I sound sweet, but sometimes I can be very, very assertive to a point like it sounds like I'm fighting, but I'm really not. But going back to my point that I was making is that it's so easy to think that you don't have to report certain things, you don't know how to even articulate these things, but there are existing problems for you personally or for the team, to the point that by the time these problems just like come out, they surface, they become big things, and most of the time you're gonna be the bad guy because you knew and you really didn't do anything about it. And then now it's just like a big misfortune for the whole company, most of the time for you mostly, but for the whole company it just becomes something that's not really nice. I don't think that any employer really likes losing an employee that they had faith in because of things that they felt like they could have intervened or could have really helped out in. But that is also because sometimes we as employees don't really know how to report. We don't really know how to, it sounds like it's not an issue, but it's such a big issue. It's like we don't know how to report. Like, you don't know how to like place it on either on paper or into words, because sometimes it's not tangible. It's not something that is physical happening, but it's like maybe more in the intangible side of things, even like sabotage. Going back to, are there no friends in the workplace? Like, work sabotage is a real thing, guys. Be careful. Communicate with your bosses, communicate with your superiors who really just open the door for you to be able to buy yourself into that protection, because sometimes it's not even because they are being they're picking sides when situations are happening, it's because you have not walked into that space to be like, okay, thank you for opening the door, this is what I need, and this is how I feel like I could be helped so that I can perform at my utmost best. Let me tell you, your bosses just want results, your bosses just want profit, your bosses just want no stress. They don't want, those group chats, those annoying group chats where your bosses are involved in, they don't want to hear half of the things that you guys talk about, because they feel like you could literally sort this out in a minute. So any place or space that welcomes you to be able to share how you can be helped, utilize it. The fourth thing I've learned is that your subordinates, they need boundaries. Like, there needs to be a clear boundary between you and the people that you're leading, mostly because they need to understand that you can be there to hear their problems, you can be there to support them, you can be there to empathize with them, but it can't be a thing where anything can go, like, it can't be a thing where they feel like they know you personally, where they lose respect for you. But for me, it wasn't a thing where they knew me personally, because they didn't know my business. But it was a thing where they feel like they make clock you, like they've clocked your personality, they've clocked your weaknesses and your strengths. And that's also to go with just really getting to know your job and giving yourself the space and the time to train yourself within the job so that you can be respected, because people do respect a person who knows what they're doing more than a nice person. So yeah, just clear boundaries with your subordinates, train yourself, and you'll get a training for your job, for your own confidence in the job. I think when you know what you're doing, you just show up differently within any space. When you're confident about something, when you're confident about a person, a situation, a circumstance, all those things, you just become more confident in how you show up. I love girl bosses because they just show up differently when they know what they're doing. It's so easy sometimes to be caught up in the job and in the not knowing of the job that you spiral, you lose your head in the process. I like using the analogy of a headless chicken, because that chicken doesn't know where it's going. Honestly, it's just moving around, and that's so unfortunate that sometimes that becomes us, where we just really just spiral into this never-ending loop or cycle or maze, trying to find exactly our feet, when all we really need is adequate training. And if you feel like within your company there are no like facilities to get the training, or the person who's training you is not doing enough, you have every right to go to your higher management and tell them that I need more, I need extra. And that's something that I learned, and I want to say that in my previous job, like one of my upper management ladies invested so much time in assisting us and helping us and just equipping us, which I also understand that there was more that could have been done from the beginning. But sometimes things, you just learn things as you go, right? Whether you're a leader or you're being led, you learn things on the job, you learn things as you go, especially when it's not really like your focus point. The sixth thing, this one is so sad, but it's so true, is that people don't matter or even care as much as you think. Sometimes we get like so consumed in the idea that like people are watching us, people are looking at us, which may be true. People are watching, people are constantly watching, but unless they have an obsession over you, or they just have deeply rooted issues, they're probably going to forget about you when they get home. People don't matter, like they really don't matter, they don't care. Like, just do just under trees, so just do your thing and do what you need to, and use the gap that people open to say I care for this 5 minutes, and then capitalize on that, and then get what you need to get, and then keep it pushing. Otherwise, they don't. There are people who just have innate badness and sadness inside of them, that they affect other people, but really just, it's not your mom, it's not your sister. Like, it's not that deep, honestly. Number 7 is that, I heard it in a preaching. That preaching was so good. It was an African, like a I think it's a West African pastor. I don't remember which country, but he was talking about asserting yourself in spaces, doing what you need to do, and getting what is yours. He said value flows in the direction of value and not pity. Value flows in the direction of value and not pity. What that means is value is just attracted to value. Like, it will gravitate towards itself. You won't become valuable because people shouldn't find value in you because they pity you, or if it's just because they believe that you can have more or you can provide more but you don't. It doesn't last that long. It's really not sustainable. So value flows in the direction of value and not pity, meaning that valuable people will stay in your life because you have value to provide, not because they pity you and you need a friend, you need a job, you need better conditions. If you're not working towards getting those better conditions, you really can't keep valuable people. I think most valuable people of affluence, people of certain prestige and dreams, people who have certain aspirations for their lives, they like people who are trying, because the idea of trying is literally you dismantling anything that would feed into your fear, would feed into your desire to stay stagnant. You trust your potential enough to know that you can have something to offer. So now it's time to show us that you do have something to offer, and that's how it should be in the workplace, because we're here to make money, you know? The 8th thing I've learned is that retail jobs need occasional counseling activities. Therapy sessions, please. Group counseling sessions, please. More workshops. That would be lovely, because I feel like with retail, the job is not that hard. Like, I started as a cashier. The job is really not that hard. It's the environment. We spend so much time at our jobs, especially retail, for us not to trust anybody. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. I feel like that's why corporate people have work husbands, because they trust each other. There are workshops, there are so many things that the corporate space provides for their employees to be able to connect and get to know each other. Then you get to trust that person. You have work besties. I do not condone work husbands personally, and work wives. Don't do that. But you can have a work bestie because the environment is allowing, and the company has invested time to create such things. So one thing I've learned is that I can do all things with the right mindset and determination. I want to applaud myself. I worked so hard to create space for myself within the retail industry. I think we can say that personality is just an innate thing, but it's really not. It takes a lot to just be able to show up at work, put your best foot forward when it comes to your behavior, when it comes to how you speak to people, how you handle people. It's not just an off the bat thing, especially when you have such a demanding job. So I'm really proud of you, baby girl. You worked so hard, and I think that all the things that you have learned, this is just a limited list, but it's not all there is. All the things that you have learned, you can use them to be in a better position in 2025. Anyone who would hire you would be very lucky, because you have a different mindset now. You have grown, you have experienced yourself in a different way, and I'm very proud of you. I don't say that a lot to you, but I really am. I think you're very beautiful in your mind, because you're very adaptable and teachable. It takes time for things to sink in on you, and like to just internalize them, because you always question stuff. But that's another beautiful thing about you. You will never stay in the same position. You will never be broke forever, because you're always willing to learn and you question stuff. So kudos, baby girl. Love you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. My battery's dying. I have to go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one, and here's to a wonderful, prosperous year. God bless you. I love you so much. That was a great video.